Hello everyone, today I'm here to record my Yale's vlog here at Yearly 2023. So I was there in August from 6th to 11th, 2023, and I absolutely loved it. So I went from Boston to New Haven, and this was kind of basically a little tour of New Haven all around Yale, and it was just an international relations program and I absolutely loved it. In the first couple of clips you can see me we were just traveling there by bus. We went from Boston and we went from the different cities, and this was here we finally arrived in New Haven. This was the bus from New Haven Union Station to the actual Airbnb where my mom was staying. So the situation was that my mom was staying at an Airbnb. This was the Airbnb, and I was gonna stay inside Yale. It was such an absolute honor. I absolutely loved this experience. I met so many amazing people, and I just loved it. So yeah, here I was walking from one side of New Haven to the other side. So as you can see, New Haven is really, really tiny. We could just walk everywhere. Here we were actually touring inside Yale because I had to check in, and then I was able to tour around with my mom. I couldn't find my roommate at first, but yeah, this was me showing at the staircase. Yale has absolutely the worst staircases because there are no elevators, and I had to drag my suitcase all the way from the first floor to the 5th floor. It was absolutely horrible, but yeah, don't bring a suitcase to Yale. This was a courtyard. We visited many different courtyards. I was in Saybrook, and yeah, here we visited some of the studies that were nearby some of the hotels. These were much more expensive, so we didn't stay there. But here I visited the bookstore with my mom. These were all super expensive. I never understood what the logos are for, but if anyone knows, just let me know. Here we visited another park. At first I thought it was like a public place, but it turns out it was actually a Yale place. This was the Yale main courthouse, so this was the center of New Haven. New Haven is so small, it literally just surrounds Yale, and there's only one CVS in all of New Haven. It's just such a tiny city. Here were some of the other colleges. The time that I visited was a time when most of the uni students were not there. This was the official start of Yearly, so after the official presentations, we went out, and I went with some of the new friends that I met. We went again to the bookstores. The bookstores were very expensive, but a lot of people bought a lot of things. Then we had different workshops. We had this period workshop from this person called Amir, and we had lunch. And then we went into this public speaking workshop where we discussed in our different teams, and this was dinner. And then we went into our mentorship groups. Our mentorship groups were basically people that helped us a lot with like discussions and just like getting to know each other. This was Yale at night, and this was our common room at night. I finally found out who my roommate was. She was such a lovely person to hang out with, and yeah, this was looking down into the middle of Saybrook. The next morning we woke up again at 7. I hate waking up so early, but I had to wake up this early, and this again was a little tour of me going down. And all of Yale's colleges are all connected underneath, and today was raining really hard, so we were actually supposed to go on a tour, but we couldn't because of the rain, so we ended up studying. So I was doing my position paper for the NUN conference that was upcoming. So then they gave us these absolutely adorable Yale pouches, and then we went for a library visit. We went to do a little workshop at the library to learn more about how to cite sources, how to do academic research, and then we went to tour around the library. All of our meals at Berkeley College. There was another college inside of Yale. There were so many colleges inside Yale, and we had that for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, so we had all 3 meals here. I loved this adorable little canteen where we had to choose everything we wanted, and below there was another study area, such a little like play space. And then we went back for another presentation. There were so many presentations. This again was from another human rights activist, and then we had one from one of the admissions officers. And then we went again to tour around Yale. This time we went to one of the libraries, and this was like, I think it was like a forbidden library. I don't remember the exact name. And then we went back to our mentorship groups when we had to continue our global impact challenges. So I'll talk about global impact challenges later on in the video, but basically it was kind of like a presentation we did at the end. And then we grabbed dinner, and then we went around just a courtyard because we wanted to explore what Yale had. And this was the Yale library. We had to work again in here because of our position papers. Like everyone was working in here because of how many position papers were due and how many people did not start. I did not start until like literally days before it was due. But yeah, this was Yale at night. It was raining quite hard that day. The next morning, again, we woke up at 7. Today was the official day of the tour, so we went around to so many different places, and this was one of the statues where basically if you touch the foot, it's like a lucky thing, because it was again at another one of these colleges. And we went to the library, and we went to like explore like underneath the library and some of the study spaces. Yale has a million libraries, so this was just one of them. And then we studied back at like the original library that we were at yesterday. As I said, New Haven is such a small town. It literally surrounds Yale. So all of these stores and everything, they were just all Yale owned or just people around Yale. This was one of the law struck buildings, and this was for one of the older students. So this was like more of a graduate building than for undergrads. This was the courtyard of the Forbidden Library, and we went again this time officially as a group to see like inside with the Forbidden Library. We went to another one of these colleges. I forget what this one is called, but basically they said there's like a relaxing massage or spa therapy in here. So this was like really good for mental health apparently. And then we had food here, and we also did our mentorship group. And then we had another workshop from one of these climate professors from Yale. She was very interesting. There was so much information. Then came the art gallery tour / the science tour. I chose the art gallery tour because I know Yale is known for art galleries and all of that jazz, whereas obviously some other universities are much more known for science. Inside the art gallery, we did some drawings, and then we did some analysis on some of the paintings they showed. These were just extraordinarily, they were like on a different level than what I saw normally in museums. This was like a Yale like art museum actually, but we went in this huge elevator because there were so many of us, and it was like completely filled with glass, and I felt so scared because I felt like I was about to fall out. But yeah, I just saw these such amazing paintings all around.
Really?
Then I was karaoke night, and we had some of these singings from these amazing boys along with our mentor. Then it was one of the girls' birthdays, so we sung for her, and it was just such a sweet moment because everyone was so happy, and it was just such nice for the girl. This next day was probably one of my favorite days. We went to visit the UN headquarters in New York. We traveled from New Haven to New York, and it took around, I would say, 2 or 3 hours. It was really close, honestly. And once we arrived, we had a little bit of breakfast on the way there, and it was a very quick journey.
No, I think the East River. The other one, yeah. But it might be enough. I'm sorry. Moving fast food. Yeah.
Here was us pulling up in front of the UN headquarters. So we actually had to book a visit beforehand before we could visit the UN. But I realized a lot of these Yale mentors, so a lot of the Yale students here, they actually visited this very frequently because they were ambassadors of their countries, or they just had internships here, and there was a lot of work that they did in this area. So here was us taking photos in front, and then we visited the inside. So the inside of the UN headquarters is absolutely amazing. There's literally artifacts from every single continent on this entire planet. The security is probably as crazy or even more crazier than some of the securities at the airports. And then actually it was a gift from Thailand, and then we visited inside some of the councils and actually saw people in meetings that were like ambassadors of their actual country, so they were actual UN workers. It was just so amazing because it was kind of like going through memory lane and just visiting a lot of the things that happened in the past. They were talking a lot about wars and bombs and how the reason why peace is so important. Our tour guide was very informative. He told us a lot about the history and the past and how we should like take care and move forward. This was the UN gift store. There were quite a lot of free items, like printables that we could take home and actually hang them up on my wall. But there were also these beautiful artifacts that we could obviously buy and then bring them home because they were just so cute. They were like there was like a flag of every single country at the UN. Leaving the headquarters was really sad because I just absolutely loved the visit. But on the way back, we played a little bit of games, and then it was dinner time. We had pizza when we got back. Our mentors were very free because obviously they were YALE students, but I actually had to run off to visit my mom because my mom had trouble with a bank issue, so I had to visit that. And then I came back, and the next day was the actual final day. So we had a couple of challenges, a couple of MUN sessions, and then a couple of global impact presentations. And we visited a funeral with some of my friends, and then we went to this old bookstore. I really liked it, and this was like kind of like the final night because we had our final dinner, our final presentation, and this was a presentation by one of the human rights lawyers from China. And then we had the karaoke and sort of like the talent show. We had a bit of ice cream along with watching the final talent show, and this was just really emotional because this was like kind of like the final night that we would be able to spend together, because some people were leaving the night of that day and some people were leaving like really early the next morning. So it was just such a sad moment to see everyone leave and pass, because obviously we did not spend a lot of time together, but we really like built a really strong bond together because of how close we all got and became. This was a girl. She was from China, but she lives in Greece. This was the first time I met someone from Greece, and you'll see later on that I met a couple of other actual Greek people. I was just so surprised. I really loved this, and he was trying to create like a drawing out of functions on decimals. I thought this was crazy, but he loved it, and I just wow him. This is one of my favorite moments because the guy in the blue shirt was actually our mentor, our YALE mentor. He was, I think, a first or second year at YALE, so he was also pretty young, but he was such a good mentor and so kind to us, and it was just so nice having him as a mentor. That night I hung out with some of the girls who we went out in the middle of the night, and Yale is not safe at night, so we quickly went back, and then I slept at like 4 in the morning. I was packing at that time, so I didn't really get back until 4, and then that was kind of like the final night at Yale. I loved it so much. This was the next morning. I took a picture of the shower, the room, and what I saw every single morning, and this was the final common room tour before I really had to leave. I packed everything up, and then it was honestly time to go. Most of us checked out the next day at around 10 a.m. or 7 a.m., sometime between that. And yeah, we just had to, like, these were our luggages, and we just brought everything back. And I went back to my Airbnb, and this was my final, like, leave. I wanted to say goodbye to the library because I really loved it there. It was just such a calming place for me. I did so much at the library. I literally learned so much, and this was one of the common room bathrooms. The bathrooms were so old, but the materials felt so new. And this was back at the Airbnb, and bye!